especially today is election day. We know in California, they're voting on Prop 22. It's going to be an important day regarding the outcome of that. Well, I'm not in the biggest support of Prop 22, which is similar to kind of what some of the benefits we got over here. We're talking about, workers' compensation, similar to our pay rules, but no lockouts. That's not what it's going to exist over there.
New York city drivers weighing in on AB5 and letting us know
AB5,
how it's going on their end.
Was essentially to turn the gig economy, those that drive or whatever, deliver, get turned into employees. As you can see, all the lawsuits that Uber and Lyft lost in California, it sided with that, yes, the drivers are employees over there. They got to abide by AB5. Lyft and Uber countered with Prop 22. They spent like over $180 million, which is insane. Because they were arguing that they would have to let go of a lot of drivers, and the cost was going to go up for passengers, and on their end, their cost is going to go up. So it wasn't going to be good for no one. It was going to be, people were going to lose work. Passengers were going to have to pay more, longer wait times. So that's the premise of 85. But there's been a lot of doubt that it's going to come here to New York, but it's already been moving here in New York. The pandemic has put it on hold, probably until this spring. But regarding on today's election with the Prop 22, if it gets voted in or not, we'll have some influence here in New York. As you know, me, Naomi, and
so New York City drivers weighing in what type of influence the outcome of today's election in California will have on them.
And this was specifically for New York City TLC drivers. We didn't find it the best route for the majority of drivers. I know there's a lot of argument that but we're employees, we get locked out. While we know that's true, there are lockouts. It's not true for everyone. There is a certain percentage that do meet the right requirements to drive and work, still make their money, and they would be completely against AB5 because, on their end, they're making more money. Part-timers were definitely hurt. You would have to adjust your schedule to work around the lockout, especially if you couldn't make get enough hours reserved. I too was affected by the lockouts. I never had priority. I worked around it, still made my money. That too, I do follow the data. So, the New York City averages just for Uber alone, pre-pandemic was over 500,000 rides a day. As long as you know the times, the places to be, you can definitely position yourself, to make decent money. Now, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of drivers were affected, especially if you juggled all three apps.
This would give California drivers a very good perspective on how things are playing out in California.
Splitting your time between all three. Good chance you probably didn't get priority on neither of the apps, which could have definitely hurt your income. I'm not arguing for that. But what I do support for drivers, and my issue with the wording in 85 in California is it closed the loophole. You know what I'm saying? You can't start your own business over there to service Uber or Lyft passengers. That specifically was written in 85. So Uber wouldn't be like, all right, we're going to turn everybody and get them to have their own business license so they can still service our customers or whatever. That was closed. That's why all those lawsuits went in favor of the state. Turning the drivers into employees. There are, of course, exemptions from 85. The state decides which industries are exempt. Which is, that's understandable. The 85 can't be blanketed for every industry. It's not always going to work universally. But I am in more support of a bill that has the overall drivers, best interest at heart. And that was one that was presented by the Democratic Senator of Staten Island. I think her last name was Savino. She had a third classification bill that would accept us as independent contractors with the ability to unionize and collective bargain against the apps. Unfortunately, that did not fall through. She didn't get enough support. The apps argued that it went too far, and the unions argued that it didn't go far enough. So they couldn't compromise. So we're stuck between the state's version of AB5, which was written into the state's budget. Como was supposed to task a 9-member task force that was supposed to study our industry and then come back with findings. Unfortunately, the pandemic started, so they put that on hold. Had the task force not been created, say there was no pandemic, and they were delayed, things would have automatically went to the Department of Labor for New York. And we already know from a few cases that they did side that we were, in fact, employees.
I'm sorry, I want to interrupt you just a little bit. So guys, I'm so sorry I have to interrupt you. Okay, so I am not being rude. I'm trying to read comments from this one because
Mile and 100 minimum wage are engaged trips only.
I'm not looking at the camera. I'm trying to read the comments. I'm trying to see if I can respond or whether how I'm going to read the question. Secondly, I would like you guys to share this video. So you can click share and share in other groups that you're in. So you can share on Real NYC and you can also share in where? You can share in the IBG page because this affects all of us. So let's see, let's have a lot of audience and let people really understand what is at stake. People are voting today. This is very serious. So thank you, Gio.
No problem. Oh, lost my train of thought. It's okay. So yeah, with that third classification bill, it didn't get enough support, and Crespo, who was, I believe, the chair of the transportation committee or whatever for the state. Correct me if I'm wrong. I did meet with him when I went upstate. He does, want drivers to have benefits. I pitched a few ideas, to them and to the senators, by either expanding the Black Car Fund, having the apps contribute, a percentage as either 2.5, 3%. We contribute like 2% of ours on our end, and to help fund something where we get either medical, which I do know a certain percentage of drivers do have, maybe through their spouse, or through Obamacare, the Affordable Cares Act, or through United Health. But just to, cover other drivers that don't have access to any of that, and maybe some paid sick time, maybe even vacation time, just work something like a benefits package that would benefit drivers. Because, one side that's fighting for 85 is more unions that are pushing for it. And obviously the apps don't like that. They don't want us to unionize or have any collective bargain. That's not their preference. They would rather keep us the way we are. I'm not in favor of that. I don't think.
How are you, buddy? How's the Inland Empire?
In the long run, obviously, because the industry is changing, and we don't know how it's going to look with this whole pandemic. A year from now, there is no stimulus, and all the drivers flood the market right now. By December, end of December, there's not going to be enough demand to meet the drivers. So the lockouts may come back. January if there's no stimulus passed, because it would make no sense to have close to 80,000 drivers out driving every day, and demand is less than 50%. Especially when we know January, February is slow. That's not even debatable. That's just every single year what happens. Sorry, light turned off. So we're coming into a new president. I mean, we have seen how we were affected by the pandemic, which makes the argument for 85 even so much stronger for the state and the unions. Like, look,
yes, I was actually about to talk about
yeah,
that.
like, look, the government had to step in and provide, obviously, unemployment benefits to us, make us qualified. And that's why I am in favor of drivers being able to unionize, to collective bargain.
Interesting to
And also have
see how the
benefits.
New York cities are weighing in on our decision here in California today. Because they believe that whatever happens here in California will impact them big time.
I'm like, you can't guarantee all the drivers.
Elisha's in the house, then Mastam is in the house.
I'm sure you can agree that
Welcome you all.
it would lead to a lot of layoffs. Like a lot of drivers would not be able to drive.
Are you able to see the comments?
No, I can't see the comments.
You can see the comments running on the screen. If you tap your screen, you should be able to see the comments. You able to see them? No?
No.
Can't see his comments.
Okay. Because there are several questions for you here.
I mean, you can ask them for me. I'm almost done.
Just finish your.
Yeah.
You're almost done. Just finish and then I'll ask you questions.
So, I do see the need, but like I said, when I asked the senators, assembly members, that this is going to lead to a lot of layoffs, they agreed. It would be the side effect of the AB5 passing,
Can you try to swipe left? That's what Ubering in NYC.
There we go.
Yeah. Yes. So you're able to see the comments coming.
Well, I see them one at a time. So I see one. I see it.
It's okay. Just go on and let's ask the question.
Yeah. So my whole issue was that it's going to lead to a lot of layoffs. We're looking at anywhere from 80 to 50% of drivers would be cut from the platform.
I doubt it. Uber will never cut 50 to 80% of the drivers. Never. They don't have a service in California if they would cut that. Those are made up numbers. That's speculated.
That Uber and Lyft does every day with like less than 25,000 cars. Like.
Thank you, Ivan. Always the lifesaver.
So, Tristan, yeah, that's what I told Munib. I would support AB5 if it forced the apps. They've worded it in the way of, if you want to avoid making them employees, you have to relinquish all control from the drivers. If they had put that in the wording of the actual bill, especially for New York State, I told Munib I would support it 100% because now Uber would have to back off. You know what I'm saying? And that would be better for us. But unfortunately, the way it's written here, it's not, and in California, Uber and Lyft didn't get those options. That was closed, unfortunately for them. So which is why I support a third classification from the Democratic senator, because I think that would have been the better route for us to go, as in it would have been a compromise. It would have been a compromise between the apps and the state, you know what I'm saying? And we could have still logged in, obviously, whenever we felt like it. Because that's one thing that I do argue. To some of us, you can't put a price on the freedom of coming in and out when you feel like it, especially if you got a family.
So, let me interrupt you a little bit. So, Tristan, Rideshare Professor, you're gonna have your chance to come in, and when you come in, you're gonna tell us the points that you're trying to put through. So right now, all you can do is ask your questions, and then when you come in, you're gonna tell us all that you're typing. So I see your questions are coming in, long sentences, but it's okay.
Yeah, no, I see his question. So yeah,
you wanna go?
Yeah, no, I'll answer him. I have no issues. I watch your videos too, by the way. I appreciate you and all your efforts helping our industry. Yeah, I agree. That was their way of trying to say, oh, look, no, they are independent contractors. See, they can put on the multiplier whenever they want.
Exactly.
Surge when they feel like it. So they gave the drivers all these little goodies to try to convince the state, like, oh no, they're really independent contractors. I'm not fooled. I know it's temporary. It was just the bypass.
Whatever that Uber gave drivers, they can also take it away.
Correct.
They gave us six destination filters. They have given us all these goodies and take them away without notice. Just boom, they're gone.
No, it's true. There's no guarantee that they would keep it. If AB5 was written in that way where it would force them to treat us like true independent contractors to avoid making us employees, then they couldn't take it away. But unfortunately,
it's Torsten. How are you?
And I agree with him. It will vanish if they make the drivers completely exempt.
I've got you guys live. You're live on my show, by the way.
But still, where I stand for New York City, because I can't speak for California, their market's different. You know, we here in New York City, we do over 100 million rides a year. That is a lot of rides. You know, with some states, you know, it would take a certain amount of states to come close to what we do every week.
Okay, I'm gonna put you on.
So
I'm sorry about that. There's a caller, but I'm gonna put you on.
Oh no,
after
it's all right. So you know, that's why I advocate. I was like, let's get the drivers together to push for a bill that also has our voice included, not just the state and the unions, but what we want as well. You know, obviously it's going to be a compromise. It's not going to be everything that we want, but no one's listening to us. You know, you do have drivers that are obviously fighting for what they believe is their right in California. You know, they want to become employees, and that's the majority. You know, then that's their will. But from here, from New York City, there's an overwhelming amount of drivers that do not want to be employees. They do not want Uber or Lyft to be their boss. You know what I'm saying?
So are you ready for your first call?
In 1 second, in like 30 seconds. So that's those are my concerns, and that's why I wish we would wake up. You know, if now more than ever, because you know, there's no reason why we can't unite to get what we want. There's plenty of it. You know, like when they took away the surge multiplier here in New York City. I don't know if you guys remember. I was saying, don't accept it. We gotta make some noise, or it's just gonna stay because it's coming. It started in other markets, and once it came here, no one really put up with resistance. They just complained, but no one did anything about it.
They complain on WhatsApp groups.
Yeah, everyone just complained.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to time to show up, like to go to Albany or to go to TLC hearings. Drivers tend to just.
Yes, I'm here.
First question, because I don't got my time. But
yeah, because I also have several questions that have been asked on the chat. But first of all, we've been having this driver waiting for us.
It's Torsten from California.
Hello.
How are you?
Yes, I would like you to tell us your.
Yes, how are you? It's Torsten, Rideshare Professor. Gio, how are you? It's Torsten.
It's the Rideshare Professor?
Yes, it is. It's Rideshare Professor. How are you guys? So I don't know if Gio, I hope you can hear me. Firstly, very well, thank you. I really appreciate you guys weighing in on this because more states should be weighing in on this. The fact that you guys are fighting your solo battle and we fighting a solo battle in California, I don't think puts enough pressure on Uber and Lyft. It should be coordinated at all states, whether it's Texas, Florida, Arizona, Utah, have to all at the same time apply pressure. It cannot just be two states. So Uber will select their fights, try and satisfy the New York crowd, try and temporarily satisfy the California crowd, dance in between courts. They know how to play the long game. It's a typical legal term, and try to outrun us. So I think if drivers, if we can connect with politicians, senators, etc., on all levels, and then drive this issue, I think we have way more power. Now the issue in California is this. Sure. No, I just want to clarify what's playing out in California and how New York and other states can support. So my question is, it sounds like the New York drivers are fairly worried that the outcome of California will affect them. Is that fairly accurate?
Worried that the outcome of California will affect them. Is that fairly accurate?
Yeah.
It's accurate. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. The drivers here are worried on the outcome of California. So say Prop 22 doesn't pass, and they're forced to turn up to employees, they're worried about the aftermath, and if it's going to spill over here to shape, the AB5 version that we're working on. Because, we got a few senators that are working on their own besides what was written into the state budget. So there's been a lot of worry, and there are a certain amount of drivers here in New York that think what happens in Cali will affect us right away over here. I do want to calm them down. We still got a little bit of time, but it is going to take the drivers to come out and speak up, or the decisions will be made for them, and they're just going to sit back and accept whatever comes. Yes, New York City is a different market. So I told them to study our industry, or particularly in New York City, for at least a year, and come out with a plan, because we still got the TLC here. For all I know, they could be like, all right, we're going to exempt New York City. They're going to be under the control of the TLC, but the rest of the state, all the suburb Uber drivers and Lyft drivers will be under the blanketed AB5. And then our fight was just be at the local level, which is be going to, TLC hearings, city council, and things like that. Our battle wouldn't be with the state, because that's one thing that happened when the TNC drivers came. Was passed for the state. New York City was exempt from that. They didn't, we got our own New York City taxing licensing commission handling us. Not that they do the greatest job. I wish more drivers were on their ends, because it feels one-sided. It feels like an us versus them. You know what I'm saying? We get ticketed, we get hunted. When they're supposed to be like protecting us and the passengers, it just feels like they're just hunting us for tickets. It's their word against ours. They can arrest you, take your freedom away if you argue with them. I've seen it. And obviously I have issues with that, and so do other drivers. And it's going to take us, for all of us, to unite and say, we need change in this industry, and not everything that's being decided for us. It's just not. It's not working out. There's a distrust. Just like how there is with the police. The TLC is like our police. The TLC police is like our cops, and we view them the same way. That's why there is a lot of animosity towards them. And it comes down to poor training. They don't have the greatest salary. I've looked into it. So it's.
If I may jump in for a second.
It's different, I gotta say, from a lot of markets, and I think a lot of drivers would agree. Just because so much money is up for grabs here, you know what I'm saying? And drivers.
I don't want to cut him off. You're still talking.
Go ahead.
And so, the one thing I love about the New Yorkers, you guys very passionate, and you fight. You're very vocal on this, and I can say the West Coast is the same. The sad thing. Yeah, it's lagged. I apologize. It's lagging. But the sad thing is that if you have 2 or 3 states being vocal, it's the challenge is to get everyone on board to exercise relentless pressure. I'm sure you would agree with me. It's very hard if 3 states are fighting the battle. I mean, there you are. You're very passionate about your cause, as am I down here in California. Uber will select their battles, right, with you guys in New York or with us. But what should really happen is that you need the other 47 states, besides Massachusetts or Washington, all chiming in. And that'll only happen when drivers put relentless pressure on politicians, which is not happening around the country. I'm sure you can agree. They're just sort of sitting on the sidelines. What's going to happen? What's happened in New York? What's going to happen in California? And maybe then we'll wake up and we'll act. That's not the way to do it, right? I mean, you got to bring that fighter spirit. If you want to negotiate, if you want a positive outcome for drivers, you got to bring the numbers. You can't have little selective little battles here and there. Wouldn't you agree? No, I've asked the question. I want him to.
So, Professor, yeah, you have your own slot coming in after this. So
no, I don't have the slot because I have to go. So I waited at 1 o'clock. The show was supposed to start at 1, and you guys started at 1:45. So.
And I do agree with them. If it was a coordinated effort.
It's okay, but I was told to be ready at 1 o'clock. They said I should be there at 1 o'clock, so I've been waiting since 1 p.m. No, I've been waiting. I'm sorry, I can't come in as a guest because I waited since they told me to be ready at 1 p.m. Okay.
So I think maybe what I think, sorry guys, sorry, excuse me. So let's do this.
Sounds good. Okay, thank you.
Coming right now, and then I'm gonna bring you back in. Is that okay? Because he has to go.
Oh, he has to go.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna bring you in as a guest right now. So go off the phone, and then I'm gonna invite you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Guys.
Okay. So I'm gonna X you out and then bring you in, and then I'll
I'm gonna be cooking, but I'll ask questions.
Yeah. You can cook and still be watching it all.
Okay.
So let me bring the professor before he leaves because he thinks he is going somewhere.
Yeah, he's 3 hours behind.
I know. He said 1 o'clock, and I was like, oh, we are almost 5.
I know. All right.
All right, Professor, are you coming in? Let me disconnect the call. Oh yeah, okay. Connect. So okay. So sorry about that, guys. So we're gonna bring in the professor because he seems like he's going somewhere or he's waiting for long. So I'm gonna bring him in. I'm trying to look for his name. Oh my gosh, I can't find it. All right, so Professor, can you request to join? As a guest? Because I'm trying to look for your name. I can't find it here. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. It's okay. It's not how I can bring you on camera. Okay, can you click, Professor? Can you click the two people down there, and then request to join as a guest? I have Monique, I have everybody here, but I can't see him. Okay, so I need to call.
I'm live. I'm trying to join this Facebook. Trying to join.
Yes, next time, of course. So for now. Yes, Professor, and then I'll bring Monique. Yeah, no problem. Everybody will have a chance to come in. Let's first of all hear from our guest. He's really far from us. Okay, Professor, I'm calling you. You can pick so that I want you to join.
I'm sorry, the person you were trying to reach has.
So how is he gonna be here with us if guys? Oh, sorry. I don't know how, because when I click all the names, his name is not appearing here, so I would have added that. Hello.
Hey, I'm sorry. My name is not in the group, so you can't invite me in. You know what I mean? Right, but the.
I can bring him here on camera. I can't bring him.
Can you see at the bottom of the screen?
Yeah, I can.
Can somebody ask him?
Okay, that's bigger head.
No, there is no. I've done this many a times. There is no.
Okay, he's calling. Hello.
I wanted to invite you, but I can't. I'm trying to.
You can comment. So I need you to do something. Can you see at the bottom of the screen?
And then we can release you. You have to go somewhere.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to come in, but I don't have the I don't have the icons. I've done this several times before.
Are you watching from Facebook? Are you on Facebook?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Facebook.
You need to join. You need to request to join as a guest. That's how you join as a
Please,
guest.
you can request to join.
Can you try to do that? Because I'm trying to look. I wanted to.
Yeah, no, I'm trying, dear. There's no icon.
Because I want you to come on.
I'm trying
to do your presentation.
You can go for the
questions.
I'm on both. I'm talking to you, but I'm not getting through on the. I'm not getting through on the. Give me 1 second. Thanks. Let me try again.
Okay, so I can see
Technology. What can I say?
Yes, but then this is between me and you. It's not appearing on
Right.
the
No, there's no way for me to go into the thing. I don't think you've approved me on the other side, so
like this.
it's
So
okay.
I'm gonna put you like that, so it's okay. However much, guys, we're gonna work with that. So that's the professor. Go ahead.
Good. First, so sorry, I couldn't get a hold of you through the thing because I don't think I'm approved in the settings, but on the phone I can speak one-on-one, and I like the way you improvised. I didn't also mean to cut off the gentleman. That was not my intention. They just told me to be ready at 1 o'clock, and I told them I had to leave at about latest like 2:30. So short and sweet. No worries at all. I just wanted to say that the battle here, or the people that are really vocal, you know, the New York crowd and the West Coast crowd, what sort of saddens me is that everybody is sitting on the sidelines. If every state, Utah, Florida, Texas, Carolinas, if everybody would jump in and push on this issue, we would get the results we want. 2 states alone can't fight this issue because they will select their battles and keep us in court. They know how to play the game. They have an army of attorneys, right? So I think the drive, if New Yorkers want a better outcome, if the West Coast, California wants a better outcome, we need to do a better job on getting all the other drivers involved on all the other, let's say, remaining 48 or 47 states. Then we have collective bargaining power. Then we can start shifting the momentum in our direction. But they're spreading us out, right? They fighting you guys on that side, making it difficult for you, making it difficult for us here in California. I just, I see a lot of people go to the polls today. A lot of people are voting yes on 22. They believe their flexibility and freedom will be lost, will be gone. But I approach it as a businessman. And if you're in a negotiation, you got to stack the chips on one side and fight, right? The only way you get to bring them to the table and negotiate a way better deal, way better than they have proposed, way better than California has done, is get the drivers involved. And that, I think, is our biggest challenge. We don't have enough drivers in this battle. Calling on the senators, calling on the politicians. You guys in New York are doing a phenomenal job. And I think people in San Francisco, San Diego, LA, Orange County are doing a phenomenal job. But it takes us all, and they know how to separate us out. They know how to file papers, motions to compel, delay, go from one court, lower court, to the higher court. So I just...
I want to interrupt you for just 1 second.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So from what I've read and from watching your videos, it seems like you're supporting AB5.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. For us here, we are against AB5.
Right.
And for the reasons that Gio already gave, we all share these sentiments. And I'm going to explain why we are against the AB5. And we are pushing for a hybrid or for a third option.
Right.
So the AB5 has two tenets, I would say. The first tenet says you gotta be an employee, or if you're not going to make these people employees, then make them true independent contractors.
Correct.
Okay? By true independent contractors, these people will be able to set their own prices. They will be able to decide when to drive and not to drive. They will be able to cancel trips and so on and so forth. But Uber has the power to say no to the true independent contractor, the true independent contractor, route, and decide that now we will bring proposal 22, and that's what they did.
Right.
So even if California right now they are enjoying these little pets or these little goodies of being seemingly looking like they are true independent contractors, these are goodies that can be taken away from them in a flash, in a minute.
Exactly.
Because we have seen that. Uber has given us 6. The other day they gave us 6 whatever we can set trips. Drivers started maybe saying, "Oh, I'm setting my preferred whatever to the airport and all that," and they took it away. We had a multiplier for the search. They took it away without warning and gave us dollar amounts,
Right.
giving us $4, $3, $2. Makes no sense, right? So even with this issue of true independent contractor, they will never, and I can assure you, I don't think they will ever give us that freedom. At the same time, if we vote for AB5, we don't want to become employees. And I'll tell you why in New York City, we are very unique. Our market is different.
Yes.
In New York City, we all work full-time. We don't have the privilege of working part-time. Number one, our expenses are so high. We pay very expensively. Our car notes are quite high. We pay PSV, FHV insurance. That's very expensive.
Right.
You guys can just take any family car. You can even take your daughter's car, your son's car, and say, "I'm going to drive Uber with this car." And that's okay. In New York, you cannot do that.
Correct.
So we have all these costs. Our overheads are quite high. Now, due to the overheads and everything, we don't have the privilege of making this a part-time gig. For us, this is full-time.
Full-time, yes. Yes.
And once they make us employees, if Uber decides to pay us minimum wage, $15, what are you going to do with $15 when you have a $60,000 vehicle to pay the loan for? You see?
Right.
That's why this is so important to us, and that's why we are willing to fight. That's why we went to Albany in February. We went to Albany, and we walked. I was there. We walked from one office to the other and one office to the other. And our proposal, and if you check the notes, if they ever release those notes, we proposed a hybrid system. We said, we want to be independent contractors, but we can unionize and we can have benefits. We can work out that. And that's the council lady from Staten Island. She already had that plan. So that's what we want to work on. Okay? So that's our proposal, is for them to...
Yes. No, I'm 100% behind your... I'm 100% behind your argument, and I completely understand where you're coming from and what the difference is. But I was just saying, look, you have the head office is in San Francisco, right? They have their army of lawyers spread out throughout the country. The majority of them are in-house attorneys in San Francisco. They can easily fight 2 battles. They can easily say, okay, what New York is doing there, we'll counter them and we'll tire them out, right? They're not going to get what they want. They're doing the same here they have the money. They're doing the same in California. What I'm trying to say is, if you want to get something through, right? I think all I'm saying is, I think we are all approaching this incorrectly. You guys are doing the right thing. California is doing the right thing. But we need to communicate and get all the other states on board. Just the movement that you are doing, for example, in your Facebook group, right? The amount of people that you have in your following, over 3,000 people. That is collect. That is
And we have a bigger one. We also have
right.
one with 8,000. We have total in New York City. We have 200,000 drivers.
Correct. But I'm saying you have collective power on social media. You're able to connect with all of those individuals. I'm able to connect with Californians. But we need to put that on steroids. And what I'm saying is that the Utah crowd, the Florida crowd, the Texas crowd, they cannot sit on the sidelines and watch. They cannot. We have to create. They have to mobilize. And we have to create an infrastructure that we show them how to mobilize. Because when you mobilize across the country, 50 states, they have no chance. They will give in. They will give in so quickly, and they will cave so quickly. They can fight their battles now, money-wise and energy-wise, because we're not spreading them out. We have to literally attack from all ends if we want our way. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Have you watched the movie? Have you watched the movie Vikings?
No, I'm sorry. So we have Ivan. Ivan, I want you to lower your volume, please. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. So he's gonna ask you questions, okay?
Sure.
So this is Ivan Ventura.
From where? From Ventura?
Ivan.
So my name is Ivan. I'm from New York.
Oh, how are you?
Can we have some light, Ivan, in your car? Can you put your light on?
Yeah, I'm crossing the bridge. You can see me?
Yep.
All right. So the problem, I understand mobilizing is the key, Professor, but I'm going to be honest. It's hard to mobilize when every market is so different.
Right, but what is...
We're an open playing field.
Okay.
Open playing field. Like in New York,
Yes?
to agree.
No, I agree. You have a very unique situation with your licensing, with your costs, etc. in New York. But I think what we all have in common is that you cannot work for peanuts, right? You cannot survive on peanuts, right? And if their job is to drive pricing down with...
So the Midwest, Florida, Atlanta, like those are big markets to an extent, right? Those markets are very similar to California. The only unique market really is New York and now Seattle.
How about Chicago? Chicago too. I think Chicago they have.
Yeah, but they don't have a variation. Chicago's trying to do a variation of what we have with the tax fee and the pay rate and the minimum fare thing. But like Seattle and New York are two different beasts, right?
Yes.
But I feel like Florida, a lot of Atlanta, a lot of the places where you can take your daughter's car and just go drive. That's like the key to getting you guys all together. Like with us, we can vote. I can say whatever. Like I've had this conversation so many times with Edward before, and it's like going nowhere because the California situation would never work here, and the New York situation is never going to work in Cali.
Right. No, you are 100% correct, right? And when you use the comparison of, for example, California is very much like Florida, etc. I agree with you as well. We very much the same type of model, right? You're a very unique model. But where I'm coming from is that if you want to fight that battle in New York and if you want a positive outcome, right? We support you on the West Coast. We want the best conditions. We want favorable conditions for you. It cannot always. Right. There is love. There is that East Coast, West Coast love. Right. But
The biggest problem that we have, especially like comparison to New York and Cali. So
Yes.
Right? And at my first ride was to San Diego. So you take a person that doesn't know shit about Cali,
Yeah.
and I'm 4.5 hours away.
Yeah.
That's where I start.
You're right. That's a long trip.
It was black car. Listen, it was a black car. The rate was good. I made like $339 on a ride.
Oh, nice.
But then
Right.
The internet.
so I'm over the bridge now. So I didn't know where to go. You understand what I'm saying?
Totally.
So in New York, we have that to an extent where we can get a Philly or Washington, but you're leaving states. With you guys, my 4-hour trip to DC is you're still in California.
Yeah, the states are so big.
But if I can make an argument, right? They spent $208 million. That's money they had, and they're not rolling in the dough right now, right? Their rideshare side is doing very poorly, right? So what I'm saying is we have to spread them out. We have to spread them thin. So if they have money to spend $208 million, they fight an individual battle in California. They're fighting a battle in New York. It's just costing them X amount of dollars. We have to, there's a saying, death by 1,000 cuts. You got to come in and take these guys on from all angles, because you can't go and spend 200 million on Florida. You can't spend 200 million. So by getting, regardless what the models are, and I understand and support the New York model, we have to find a way to get all of these states participating. Because if we bring the battle to Uber from all sides, they don't have the money. They will have to start settling. They will have to start giving in. They don't have to do that right now because they go to the lower courts and then they'll bring it to the California Supreme Court. They've got the money. They'll throw another 100 million at California. They'll throw another 100 million at New York. Yes.
But I did a car jury. It's gonna sound crazy, and a lot of people that know me know this. I'm very pro Uber. I'm pro the sneakiness of what I'm against is the sneakiness of some of the things that they do.
Yes. Yes.
Uber has provided a lot for me. It's provided a platform. It's provided food on the table for my wife and kids.
Yes.
That aspect of it, I'm not knocking it. What I don't like is when I wake up and my shirt is on, or I wake up and I can't pick up rides in Jersey anymore, or
Right.
I go to the Hamptons
And now you can't get a trip out of the Hamptons.
Yeah.
no, forget about that. Listen, so I take a ride from New York City to the Hamptons for $500, and then I get a ride back from Long Island for $120.
Exactly, yeah.
So-
I know what you're saying.
So the key word is there's no consistency. I mean, you never know what surprise they have in the bag for you, right? The model itself is beautiful. The opportunity is wonderful. I agree. It's great. But the adjustments and the surprises is there's no consistency, and you can't build.
But I'm going to tell you the hardest thing, and I watch your videos, and the biggest thing is, it's like today with the elections, right? So everybody goes red or blue, and I'm going to be honest, me personally, and I said this in I don't know how many groups, I don't care if you go blue or red,
Right.
just go out and vote.
Exactly.
I don't care who you vote for.
Exactly.
I agree.
You know why? Because if you tell me, okay, we're going to go for AB5, fine, I'm going to go with you for AB5, but you know what's going to happen? Then people that ain't going either way, Prop 22 or AB5, are the ones dictating what's going to happen to us. You
Right.
understand? So
Yeah.
I feel like if you're in this business, then we're in this business. You understand? You have to put your own opinion. You know, I was fortunate enough, I went to San Francisco last year, and I did the driver forum. And I'm going to tell you, I said Uber driver forum, they probably hated me. And the New York City Uber meetings, they hate me. You know why? Because I question everything to a T.
Good.
When they said 6 filters, 6 destination filters, I said no, everybody's going to go to JFK.
That's what happened. The drivers abused the privilege. Yeah, they abused the privilege.
Right.
3 days later, you couldn't get a ride to an airport
You couldn't.
because 1,000 people had filters to the airport.
Yeah.
So when I stood up at that meeting and I was like, yo, 6 filters is not right. You know
Well, you know,
One wrong and another wrong doesn't make a right. It just makes two wrongs.
correct. Exactly.
Two left turns is not a freaking U-turn.
Right. Well, I mean, correct. I mean, and they know. I mean, you know, it's sort of the model divides us. Like, you know, it's like you have this heated yes or no discussion. These are two completely opposite opinions, right? You have two completely opinions in New York. You've got what you've just presented, and then the other guys say, no, you got to go along with what we say. They're very good at dividing. They're very, very good at dividing people. But
Professor, there's also another thing that I wanted to put across.
Sure.
To you guys. This business is dominated by immigrants. Most of the immigrants, they really have a challenge with the language, and they tend to comply easily. And that's how Uber and Lyft take advantage.
But you know why they comply?
They take
Because you're scared to get deactivated. Listen, Naomi knows I'm deactivated from Lyft.
I know.
And you know what they told me? Go to the hub and we'll activate you.
Which hub? It's closed.
Wanted me to go to Long Island City and talk to a manager. You know what I told them? I'm not talking to a manager. Fuck you. I don't need this. You understand? I'm not going to go there and degrade myself and explain to me why I got deactivated. You understand?
Yeah.
Because I got Uber. I can tell you they deactivated me. They said, oh, your rating's low. Okay, I'm a 499.
That's understandable. But you are 5.
But you understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we sit there and have this argument. What people don't understand is your fight in Cali is going to affect us one way or another.
Sure.
Actually, the outcome in California is directly going to affect us. There's something, guys, give me a chance to just say something, and this is directed to both of you. Do you think the COVID-19 has really affected our chances with this AB5? Because now we went looking for unemployment. We are independent contractors, yes. Do you think they will use that against us? The fact that we went and took unemployment?
Forget about using it against you. I'm going to give you a great example. So, a lot of people took unemployment. I took unemployment for like 6 weeks.
I took for some time, then I stopped. Yeah.
I was losing my fucking mind. You know, self-purpose gives you the will to work and get up. So, you know, a person that has a doctor's appointment for Friday is not going to want to die on Tuesday.
Of course
Right?
not.
Because you have to look forward to Friday that you have a doctor's appointment.
Of course.
Right.
You have a dinner, you have a birthday party. So, if you take all those elements away from anybody, I'm not saying from anything, you take a joy away from a dog, food away from a dog, that dog is going to do whatever it needs to do to survive.
Correct.
Right, yeah.
So, at the end of the day, right now, AB5 looks good in theory because there's no demand. So that $2,000 a week is not there anymore.
Yes.
So if you can guarantee 1,500, it looks good. But what happens when demand comes back, when everything's back?
Exactly.
The repercussions of it are unseparable. You can never go back.
Yes.
And that's what we did. When we allowed Excel, we can never go back.
Exactly.
When they brought in Pool, a cheaper ride,
Uber
we can never
Pool.
go back.
Yeah, exactly.
I get people that want Uber Pool back because Uber Pool is $5. Fuck COVID. They don't care about COVID. They don't care about dying.
Right.
They usually squeeze. Today I had to actually tell a lady, stop it. She was opening the front door.
That's it. Exactly.
No,
Correct.
not. That's true.
When I went to the driver forum, I had 15,000 black card trips in New York.
You mentioned something there. You know, they don't have our best interest. When you're looking at the state, when you're looking at the company, and when you're looking at drivers, 3 different bodies, right? It's almost impossible to create a win-win-win scenario. The state has its objectives, wants to see the money. The company wants to pay it out as little as possible. And the driver says, listen, I'm doing the job. I'm bringing in the money. reward me accordingly, right? To create a win-win-win situation is, I mean, we could write books about this. It's a tough one. But I still believe at the end of the day, when you go to battle, right, and you bring your street warriors from all sides, right, and put relentless pressure on politicians, on companies, and it can be done. These models have been proven, right, is that, divided we fall, together we conquer. If drivers would stick together, if drivers would truly fight together, and if there was a system in place that said, hang on, Mr. Senator, hang on, Mr. Politician, we're a big body here in all of these states, listen to us, listen to New York, listen to Florida, listen to Texas. We cannot work for peanuts, right? What they do so very well, they do a brilliant job at dividing us, right, and controlling us. And they control us by the money. They pay the money to a lot of outside law firms to control us. Just shut them up, keep them quiet, keep them in court. We cannot win this fight, my friend. And I'm with you. I'm a street fighter. I can hear you're in there. You love your job. You love your job. Good.
My car is fucked up. My car died. What are you gonna do? You can't do anything.
Yeah.
People don't understand that, like you said, fine. Together, we all can stand up for each other. But you know what the biggest problem is? We're only as strong as our weakest link.
Yes.
And here, at this present time, we have a lot of weak links. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because we're in the middle of a pandemic, and nobody wants to suffer.
Yes.
I can guarantee you, if we all were to unite and say, 1 week, we're going to fuck everything up.
Exactly.
I'm going to give 1 week. But you know what's going to happen?
Actually, we don't need a week. We can even do 2 days. And we're going to have an impact.
Correct.
50% of us is going to give 2 days. 50% of the people, you know what they're going to say?
Oh, it's going to surge. I want to make money.
I can't do it. I only work Monday, Tuesdays.
Correct. Correct.
So that's going to be the problem. The problem is not Uber, it's not the senators. The problem starts with us.
I agree.
Yeah.
Listen, either you stand for something.
Thank you. Thank you. I agree.
Thank you, Ivan.
Thank you. That's either you stand for something or you stand for nothing. You know.
Well, you fall for nothing, yeah. That's it.
You know.
Here in New York, we try to stand for shit. But you know what happens? Man, I'm going to get a $25 charge today. And I gotta pay my car note, I gotta pay my whatever. And I understand that that's their prerogative. But at the end of the day, the right time to go out and do all this was in the middle of the pandemic when everybody was collecting.
Right.
Yes.
Right now, at a present point in time, it's not gonna happen because some people ain't collecting, some people are back. You understand?
Yes.
That's gonna be the problem. And it's hard for me to say, I'm gonna stand with the professor, but I don't agree with AB5.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I stand with you on California and the AB5. But in New York, we need to figure out something else.
Yes. Actually, so the proposal, Prop P22, it has something positive about the benefits. It wants drivers, it's working out a way that the rideshare companies can work like the Black Car Fund. So they are trying to take that model of the Black Car Fund and see whether it can work with the other markets and all that. So here is a case where drivers are going to have benefits, but at the same time we keep the status quo, the way we do business. So it's a matter of give and take. So they're gonna give benefits and then they're gonna take control. They want to maintain control over us.
Let me give you a better scenario that will fix all
Which
this.
would, give us the best scenario. Professor, are you listening to this?
I'm here. I'm here.
I'm gonna give you a weird ideology. I'm Facebook, right? Or Instagram, one of these big social media companies. And I have billions of followers, right? That use my platform.
Yes.
This is Uber. Uber has billions of followers.
That's true.
Billions of drivers, right?
Yes.
You're telling me that Uber can't go to Blue Cross Blue Shield and be like, look, I have 1
Exactly. You said it.
Listen, the Uber can't go to T-Mobile and say I have 4 billion drivers.
Right.
Give me a plan for all my drivers.
They can. They can.
Do it. Listen, Uber has the keys that they can go to any castle and open the door. You know why? Because they're massive. So you don't need the government to do anything. We don't need the government to give us a medical bill.
No, we don't.
You do that shit yourself. Just
We
go
can.
right to Blue Cross Blue Shield. Be like, yo, I have 200,000 drivers in New York City, 500,000 in Cali, and this is what we want. What's the best plan you can give us?
We can get 401k. We can create our own union. We can do all these things and remain independent contractors. Because
They can go right to the source
exactly.
and get a better deal than anybody possible. You understand?
What's your take, Professor?
Well, in theory, that sounds wonderful, but then again, politicians jump in and say, "Hey, you know what? You're monopolizing." So the moment you use the word monopoly, or they're trying to get collective bargaining power, they start breaking it down again. So they love breaking monopolies up. They don't want to allow certain insurance companies and certain companies just to become too powerful. So they regulate again. They'll regulate the market, and all other insurance companies will cry foul if they would try to monopolize it. I mean, that's just business. You know what I mean? But the theory is smart. I have to rock and roll, and I want to do a second feed with you guys because I gotta get down to Calabasas now, and but I enjoyed the conversation, and you'll always have our support, and maybe we can figure out a way how to exercise more pressure.
AB5 passes that helps you guys out, and if it doesn't, then let's work on something better with Prop 22. Here, I think AB5 is not going to work.
No.
I agree.
No, we're gonna fight this city up. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So, Professor,
Thank you, guys. I think that was very, very productive. I mean, at least we're East Coast and West Coast is on the same page. If we can get the other 48 states on the same page, I think we're in good shape.
Professor, welcome
Awesome.
to NYC Rideshare Club. This is our
Thank
home.
you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
We are structured in our club, and we are working on bigger things. We work on empowering drivers, and we really, really respect everyone. And our goal here is to try and create a forum that will be able to negotiate with these big companies, the government, and everybody else, and we have a voice. We
Cool.
collaborate with different organizations and different people that are willing to work with us. So you're welcome always.
Thank you.
To
Cool.
share ideas with us, and we are open to even come to your channel if you need us.
And yeah, we can choose topics, and we can work together. And I think again, if we stand up together, we're in better shape than fighting individual battles.
Yes, and
Together we stand, divided we fall, my brother.
yes,
Thank you,
and
brothers
I
and
want-
sisters.
Since you have a network, a countrywide network, it's upon you guys to bring people together. Us as New York City, we are willing and able to come together with you guys, work together as a team, and create respect, because we need to be respected. We are not just drivers; we are intellectuals. We are parents. We are people that are educated. So we are not just drivers. We are people that can sit down and articulate our issues, and we have to take control of this industry. So
I
we're
like
not going
it.
to let Uber and Lyft take control of everything.
Well
Now
said.
we want to have a seat on the table, and we are not asking. We are not begging. We are demanding.
Demanding
It's
it.
our
Yeah, you got to
right.
demand it. Yes, you're right to have a seat at the table. You don't have to beg for it. It's our.
We have a seat on the table. We are demanding for our seat.
Thank you very
Sit
much.
there. Thank you, Professor.
Appreciate you guys. Be safe, New York. Thank you. Bye-bye. Cool. Well, that was a heated discussion. I mean, it was great because they're very passionate. They're fighters, the New Yorkers, as are the Californians. But everybody has to get it. We're not. Us two states are not going to change the dynamics. We have to have collective fighting power. This is always the symbol that I use, right? We have a lot of people from all over. We got Florida in the house. We got Nevada in the house. We got to find a way to do it at once, right? Because they can't fight 50 battles at once. They can fight a $200 million battle here, and they can fight another $100 million battle there. But if you bring it from all sides, relentless pressure, they have no chance. Absolutely zero chance. Show us the money. Have a great day. I'm out of here. I got to pick up my kids. Thank you, guys.